hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality. While listening, you'll be exposed to inspiring, empowering, and unifying perspectives that I'm highly confident will yield stellar results in your life if you opt to try them on for size. Also, at optimistic.tv, we have officially begun releasing the first few episodes of our new late-night style, consciousness-elevating video variety talk show, Optimistic, which features live visionary art, soul share interviews, retreat guests here at the Mystic Manor, as well as live musical performances. I'm also super excited to announce that we are currently making plans to release the rest of Season 1 on my personal favorite online streaming service. So stay tuned to optimistic.tv to follow the unfolding development of this exciting Optimistic expansion, as we'll be posting more info and release dates there soon. And in the meantime, be sure to check out, of course, the first few episodes at optimistic.tv as well. All right, all you positive heads, welcome, welcome. Here we go again. So grateful to be back with you guys as always. And today I am going to start something a little new. We'll see if it lasts for the next 5 years, next 50 years, or just today. But I was thinking how much, I love, as you guys know, I love quotes. I love memes. I think memes are amazing. And, sometimes I save them when I see them and then forget to come back to them, and, or quotes that are, on a meme, whatever. And so I was like, Friday I was thinking about it, and I was like, I always talked about Magical Mondays. I'm like, what about Meme Me Mondays? And so, I think I'm going to just take today. I started, at that moment, I kind of laughed at, just give me a play on words and I instantly will dedicate my whole life to it. And so I'm like, all right, Meme Me Mondays it is. Let's do it at least one Monday. But perhaps I'll stick with it. We'll see. Sometimes I get excited and then it's like, squirrel, new distraction. Nope, I forgot about that. Or I stick with it. We shall see. But for today, I decided to go back through my phone and just pull out some memes and quotes that jumped out at me enough in the recent, month or so to save. So first one, let's talk. And then, I love to expand on, especially if it's like a quote or whatever, like, and they're all, some of these I think actually have, here's who originally said it, and then others, they're just a statement, right? And there's no credit to who said what, but so I think just exploring what did the person, the author, have in mind, and is one thing to consider. And we did this actually quite a bit early on in the podcast too, taking quotes and breaking them down. Ponder this breakdowns, as we called them way back in the day. Any of you OGP heads know what I'm talking about. So what I'd like to do is just take, a few of them and just talk about a little bit what I think maybe they meant, or even more exciting to me is what they mean to me, right? And how I sort of translate and give them meaning. And I think, I'll start with the very first one, which is really just about that. And it's something that I talk about a lot on the show. And this one was actually posted on Abraham's Instagram account a few weeks ago. And I saved it, and it said, "We are all fractals of the same God consciousness, just living different subjective experiences. Every reality is entirely malleable by the one that perceives it, because we are all living independent experiences from each other." And that's actually jumped out at me because I always talk about how malleable, I use that word, how malleable this reality is. We're all fractals of the same God consciousness, just living different subjective experiences. So we're basically God looking through the lens, in this case, of the avatar Brandon Beacham, right? And in the case of you, and it's a unique experience and a unique lens to view reality through. And not only is it unique, as you become the person, for me, what this means is every reality is entirely malleable by the one that perceives it, because we're all living independent experiences from each other. I mean, that's the most powerful truth that you can really realize, right? Like, this world is not so rock solid like we've been led to believe. Like, what it is to you is it is to me, and it's going to show up the same way. It's like, once you start really getting the understanding the truth that how you perceive it, it actually dictates how you will then receive and experience it. Right? And that's where your power lies. Your power lies not in seeing new things, but, and there's a quote, someone, I forget who, but something to the effect of, it's not all about seeing new things, but seeing the same things with new eyes, right? You get to dictate what your perspective is on something. And when you start really getting how powerful that is, it brings it right back to this whole thing that it's all an inner journey. It's all internal, right? You are the perceiver. You are God experiencing through a certain unique lens that then you get to tweak the lens of how you want to perceive it and how you want to define it and what story you want to tell around it, right? And so, especially in times like this, it can be so easy to fall into fear about what's happening to the collective, right? With coronavirus and all the old things that are coming to light, right? And that's really, I want to stress that. It's coming to light. All the shadow stuff you're seeing, it's being brought to the surface because light is being shined on it. And that's a good thing. Right? These things that you're hearing about, from racism to, all the hot mess that is our political system and government, to, child trafficking and pedophilia. And you're hearing all these really dark things. Like, what, some people are probably thinking, oh my gosh, what is happening? What's happening is light is being shown in the dark corners. And that is a good thing. That is what needs to happen for these energies to be brought to the surface so that they can be transmuted. And much like the caterpillar who destroys everything in its path, then goes into, the chrysalis, and the caterpillar cells actually melt into a goo and feed the imaginal cells, which have the DNA, the code of the butterfly, right? It actually is powered by the destruction of the caterpillar. I was just talking to my mom. For some reason this came up with my mom. You guys hear me talk about that story a lot. And my mom was like, oh, wow, yeah, my beautiful geranium just got destroyed by a caterpillar. And I thought that was perfect. She loves taking care of her plants and gardening. And she had a geranium that had been around for several years and eaten alive by caterpillars. So, well, that pain that was to the living entity of the geranium now actually at some point gets transmuted into this beautiful butterfly that's going to fly around, right? And flutter around and bring beauty to the planet, right? And so if you can take that perspective as you're perceiving all the things that are happening and tapping into your power, in your power of perspective, you can really navigate all of these enlightening times with as much grace and ease as possible. Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a quick moment to tell you about our sponsor, Curable. Curable is an app that takes a different approach to helping people manage and alleviate their chronic pain. I know it's been hard to watch my own father, who I've always viewed as indestructible, become increasingly limited in his movements due to chronic knee pain, and having to deal with the frustration of not knowing how to treat it effectively. Fortunately, modern neuroscience is illuminating more and more how chronic pain develops and worsens. Studies show that the brain and central nervous system play a much more significant role in chronic pain than we once thought, and by retraining the brain to process pain differently, we can reduce symptoms and gain more control. So if you're struggling with chronic pain, the Curable app can help you get your life back by guiding you through science-backed techniques designed to help you overcome fear of movement, symptoms, and never getting better. It also offers strategies that can help retrain your brain's response to pain and in many cases reduce the intensity and frequency of symptoms. Curable offers both a free and paid version of the app. If you use our link to sign up and get started with the free version, you'll get 50% off if you ever decide to upgrade to a subscription. Just go to getcurable.com/positivehead to set up your free account. That's spelled GETCURABLE.com/positivehead. All right, next one. Let's see. A meme for Meme Monday that I saved once upon a time. There are only 2 lessons. You weren't seeing the whole thing. You are the whole thing. I like that one a lot too. So it's all you. All the trials, the triumphs, all the challenges, all the victories, all the darkness, all the light. It's all a necessary part of it all. And if you're not seeing the whole thing, you're a lot of times going to be casting arrows, casting judgment about what is or isn't happening, right? It's so easy to fall into that. And once you realize, hold on, I am the whole thing. Everywhere I go, I'm there waiting for myself. And this thing that I maybe don't approve of or don't want more of in my reality, or I want to see go away on the planet, it's a part of the collective that needs to be transmuted. And you are it. I am that I am. Right? The Bible verse, I am that. And then at the end, you just are. You are the whole thing. I am that. I am. You are the whole thing. And if you're not seeing the whole thing, it's really, 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 really easy to start, creating that separation between you and it. And yeah, there are relative truths. There are, you and I are one. Yes, that's true from one perspective. You and I are separate individual entities from another perspective. That's true. So, luckily there is some separation from one perspective between you and, the person out there doing some horrible act as you listen to this, right? And from another perspective, you are the whole thing. So, be slow to judging the process. Be slow to judging what a soul is meant to go through, what their karmic path is meant to go through. I think back, I was talking to a friend earlier today, and you guys have heard me talk about before. I forget who it was, what his name was. One of my Soul Share interviews years back, and he was talking about how he would always send love to people he would walk by on the street. I think in San Francisco, that people that were experiencing homelessness, and he would send them energy, send them love. And he was also someone who perceived things multidimensionally and would perceive and connect with people's higher selves. And so he said he was walking by and he sent love to this person who looked very, in a distressed state, living on the streets. And all of a sudden, this being's higher self appeared to him and said, "Do I look like I want that from you or need that from you?" And he said it was a very powerful lesson for him because he realized, like, oh wow, I don't need to try and get in the way and send this person energy. And meanwhile, their higher self wants the experience that it's currently having. Right? That's come up for me quite a bit. And, it's like this idea of whose karma are you getting in the way of by trying to do your good deed? And so once again, it's a fine balance. It's, learning to read the energy of the room, learning to feel into what's happening. There is certainly a time and a place for soul contracts to play out where you help someone too, right? So it's all about this art of living is fun, learning how to do this dance and to read the energy in the room. And you're going to get better at it all the time. And, and you're going to, trust that there's really nothing. You're not here to save anyone. You don't need to fix anyone, right? People are more than capable of saving and fixing themselves. They're very, very, very powerful beings. Their higher self knows what it's doing. And you may be seeing a glimpse of a part of their journey where they're a hot mess and just in awful circumstances. And from the greatest perspective, that is divine design, and they are inevitably going to come back to who and what they are, which is, source, God, love, divinely powerful entities, right? Incredibly beyond our wildest imagination, how powerful each and every being. Each and every one of us is. And so we don't need to, a lot of people, especially very super empathic people, it just causes a lot of nights sleep being lost because they're thinking about, who all the hurt in the world and all the people that need to be saved and all the people that they need to fix and their family member that's having a hard time and they can't do anything about it. And it's because you're judging what's happening as quote unquote bad, when really from the ultimate perspective, there is no good and bad. It's all just happening. It's all things that are meant to happen in divine order. And that leads to the next one here that I came across. Someone said a lot of people struggle with sleep because sleep requires peace. And I sleep really, really well. When I saw that, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty peaceful. And I have a lot on me. And I've had a lot of challenges in this last year or so, right? I mean, I've had a lot of challenges in my life in general, but I've processed challenges very well by telling the right story, by looking at it through a lens that serves me in a way that allows me to sleep peacefully. And so I want to take this as a moment, because I know so many people out there struggle with sleep, as a moment to let's reprogram, let's cast a spell or spelling, right? With this idea of you in this moment, as a lot of these truths that all I can do is remind you about, because I can't tell you anything your soul doesn't already know. I can only help you remember perhaps what you've forgotten as I remind myself. That's what we're doing here with this dance on this podcast. And let's use this as a moment to co-create together. Every one of us listening. If you sleep really well already, okay, let's tune your energy into everyone who collectively will hear this podcast that doesn't. And let's all send energy. And those who aren't, let's tell a new story of, I am deciding in this moment that I don't need to lose sleep over worry. I am deciding in this moment I don't need to lose another moment of sleep over worry, because worry is a misuse of imagination. It's a poor use of imagination, right? Let's imagine gold, like the song that I'm looking at that I'm going to play next is as the ending track today is on an album by Frameworks called Imagine Gold. Let's imagine it's all golden. It's all perfect. It's all divine. You don't need to worry anymore for anyone's sake, especially your own. You are in very, very good hands. Your higher self's hands, Source's hands, God's hands. It's infinite. It's powerful. You can never lose. If you don't like something, don't worry. Change is guaranteed. Just keep trusting the mystery. Keep trusting what's happening with your life. Telling a bigger story. Every man, here's one by Arthur Schopenhauer. Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. Stop taking these limiting beliefs and applying it to the world. It's time for you to expand. Let's expand your own vision, which you then expand your story of what's happening in the world. And you can now really, really move into this next version of yourself that sleeps so peacefully because you've had enough of that. It's not necessary anymore. It's unnecessary to worry. Snuggle up into the cocoon of creation that you're in this moment. You are in eternity. You made it. You made it. The fact that you exist, you made it. That's all the worry comes from, what's going to happen is it, or am I not going to make it, right? Is someone not going to make it? Guess what? You made it because you exist, and this is eternity right now. This moment's always happening, always. You can't not be in eternity. So you made it. That's it. Congratulations. So now there's going to be different experiences throughout this eternity that you were awarded, which is, hitting the lottery times a trillion, infinite lotteries, right? And there's going to be challenges. There's going to be difficult things. There's going to be all of which serve all the goodness on the other side of it. It's all happening for love, and you are it, and you exist. You are consciousness. You are the consciousness that always, always has been, always will be, cannot lose, can only pretend to lose. And your job now is to be graceful as you walk through the fire, to learn to trust the process. You are doing it. I am doing it. We are doing it together. And I am so grateful to be walking home with each and every one of you. It is such a pleasure, such an honor. And with that being said, I have a song as we gracefully walk through the fire together by Frameworks off the album Imagine Gold. This is the remix version of the album. This is a song called Fires that was remixed by Edamame. I really like it. Hope you do too. Till next time, journey well. Love you so, so much. And if you're feeling the call to come for a week retreat style Mystic Manor immersion, remember to go now and book your time to speak with me directly about stepping into the optimistic vortex at calendly.com/talk with Brandon while there are still spots left. Otherwise, I look forward to co-creating magic with you at the Mystic Manor.